You've probably done fire drills at school before. The alarm goes off as a warning, then you line up outside, and it's cold, and you're bored, until, eventually they let you go back in. If you go to college, don't worry, that keeps happening, except in your dorm, so that you can get the alarm while you are in the shower. Alright, that aside, we're still looking for a perfect leader. We talked about Rehoboam, Solomon's son, last week. He, didn't make the cut. Now we're going to talk about the leader, Jeroboam. Jeroboam, if you forgot, was the inheritor of the northern tribes of Israel because God was punishing Solomon and his son Rehoboam for following other gods. If it makes it easier, just think of J as king of the north and R as king of the south, because J comes before R in the alphabet. This story is an awesome one, and I think you're going to love it. It really does deserve its own lesson. But before we dig into it, I want to do a quick and proper review of the state of Israel and Judah. Rehoboam, Solomon's son, lost control of all the tribes of Israel except the tribe of Judah. Eventually, the tribe of Benjamin joined him as well, leaving the southern kingdom of Judah with 2 tribes. Up north, the other 10 tribes remained joined together under Jeroboam, not Solomon's son, as the kingdom of Israel. They were now 2 different countries with 2 different kings. We're talking today about Jeroboam, king of Israel, not Solomon's son. He had a prophet of God, Ahijah, who told him that as long as he followed God, God would bless him. Jeroboam, king of Israel, not Solomon's son, didn't end up listening to that rule. Here's the breakdown. Jeroboam wanted the people to stay loyal to him. There was one problem that he saw. The only temple to God people were allowed to worship in at the time was Jerusalem, which was in Judah, the other country. He was afraid that if people went down to Judah to worship God, they'd follow Rehoboam, Solomon's son, and not him. He concocted a plan, and built temples in the cities of Bethel and Dan, which were in his country, Israel. There was just one issue. Like I said earlier, Jerusalem housed the only temple that people were allowed to worship in. His temples didn't count. So he concocted another plan. Jeroboam remembered the gods of Egypt and remembered their temples with golden cows. He got as much gold as he could get his hands on and made himself some golden cows. He put one in each temple. He told the people of Israel that it was too far to go to Jerusalem just to worship, and he told them that the golden cows were the gods that saved them from Egypt long ago. He had feasts, threw parties, and generally encouraged golden cow cultism. I'll give you 3 guesses as to what God thought of Jeroboam's golden cows. Probably only need one if you remember how he reacted to Solomon's golden cows and Rehoboam's golden statues, and you get the point. He was mad. But he wanted to give Jeroboam a chance. So he sent a prophet to give Jeroboam a warning, a fire alarm of sorts. When the prophet showed up, Jeroboam was in the middle of worshipping his golden cow. As you can imagine, God's prophet didn't take too kindly to "No way, buddy." As an aside, if a prophet of God comes and tells you to do something, just do it. But anyway, the prophet gave him a prophecy, as prophets like to do. He said, "Because you won't stop, a new king named Josiah will tear down your temples and get rid of your priests. To show this is the word of the Lord, your altar will fall to pieces, and its ashes will cover the ground." Now, Jeroboam was angry. How dare this prophet speak to him that way? He told his guards to grab the prophet and kill him. As he pointed, his arm suddenly withered. His arm couldn't move. And just then, the altar behind him collapsed. The ashes covered the ground. The prophet's words were coming true. Jeroboam asked the prophet for forgiveness, and the prophet prayed over him and healed his arm. However, he never did stop worshipping idols. God remained angry. Jeroboam's son became sick, and nothing was making him better. While Jeroboam wanted to ask God if he could heal him, he knew God was angry with him for worshipping idols, so he sent his wife in disguise. She went to find the old and blind prophet Ahijah. Despite being old and blind, the Lord let him see that she was the queen, and he told her the truth. Her son would die, and another king would take Israel and destroy the house of Jeroboam. What do you think happened? Well, God's never wrong. The boy died, and a new king killed all of Jeroboam's descendants. Do you think the punishment was severe? God gave Jeroboam many chances. He chose instead to worship his idols, even when God had already punished him once. God gave him warnings, but he chose not to listen to them. Think about the ways God warned Jeroboam, and make sure you're listening to God's warnings in your life.